So, Mark, can you tell our audience who you are and what you do?
I'm Mark Mastrangelo. I'm Vice President of Operations at TEL Instrument Electronics Corporation. TEL has been in business for over 50 years, and we're a worldwide leader in avionic flight equipment. TEL is the leader in encryption testing for the military.
Tell me, how did you first learn about CMIT and Guy and Carol Beardsley?
I was actually at a business show, and I was looking around for some different services, and we were having an extremely difficult time with IT, and I ran into Carol. We started talking about some of my needs and some of my frustrations with IT, moving away from being such a reactive company to being a more proactive company. And Carol said that CMIT could help with that, and I was really impressed with what she had to say. So we brought her in and we started talking, and the way CMIT does business is just much more suitable to our type of business environment. We have deadlines and critical schedules to meet, and we need to be moving forward at all times. And anytime there's any kind of work stoppage, that's a problem. And what's very frustrating to me is not being an IT expert is when something goes wrong and somebody comes to me after the fact and said, well, if you had done this ahead of time, it would have solved your problem and you wouldn't have had this. And there's nothing worse than to go down with your system and find out you could have been proactive and fixed it ahead of time. For example, we had a problem with our server. We didn't have enough memory on the server. We crashed the server, and the server went down. Whereas if we had gone out ahead of time and purchased memory, it would not have been an issue. And that's one of the great things about CMIT is they provide data on a monthly basis, which allows us to look at trends and be proactive with our decisions and our methods for improving our system. And every time my system improves, that means my efficiency improves. That means I'm able to serve my customers better. And we're in a business where not only do we manufacture our products, but we have to maintain them for our customers. And if I can't finish my testing and get it out the door that day, I have customers that are very angry. I mean, they need these test sets to get planes off the ground. A lot of our customers are small avionics shops. So every day their test set is here with us to be calibrated and tested. That's the day they're not making money. I can't tell them, sorry, you have to wait 2 days while we fix our system. That's money out of their pocket. They can't accept that. And as a good supplier, we can't accept that either.
I think you're on the Ultra version of Marathon, which is CMIT's managed services platform. How did it compare in terms of what you were paying before for technology services and really not getting what you needed, and what you're paying now for Ultra?
To be honest, I'm getting about 3 times the amount of service for about the same price, maybe even a little less. So it's been a tremendous savings for us.
So what made you decide to use CMIT over other computer consultants? Why CMIT?
The 3 things that really stuck out with me was, 1, the monitoring system, looking at what's going on now so I can predict what's going to happen later. And 2, translating that stuff into data that we can sit down with CMIT, look at what's going on, and map a plan to always make sure we're trying to be as efficient as possible with our system. And that's not just making sure we're always up, but being efficient in our costs as well. And the 3rd thing is the help desk. We're a small company, and what small companies usually do is they'll have a couple of people who know something about computers helping out everybody else. Well, that takes away from efficiency. If I'm at somebody else's desk helping them with a problem, that means I'm not getting my job done. So by having a help desk there, it's like freeing up hands to do what we do best, focusing on our core competency. Those are the 3 things that really stuck out for me.
You know, a lot of technology service providers are Joe Blow and his buddy. And it's a very small local operation, and they're not backed up by much. Was it important to you at all to have an organization that you didn't just have Guy and Carol, but you also had CMIT as a backdrop to be able to backstop and support them?
It's absolutely critical. I mean, we're a small avionic company, but we're dealing with the U.S. Navy, Air Force, Marines. We have engineers all over the country working with us, so we need to be able to have remote access. I need to be able to develop, configure, and manage software on my servers for my test sets. I need to be able to manage my MRP system, my finance system, and my complete ERP process. So we're a little company, but we're heavily involved in technology. And we have several servers, and we have several types of systems, and we have multiple programs. And can't have somebody who knows a little bit about this and nothing about that. I got to have a full-service IT function. I can't afford a big guy. So by having CMIT, I have the flexibility of having a one-on-one relationship with Guy and Carol, but I know behind them there's a wealth of expertise and experience. So if they get in trouble, they got people they can turn to.
Well, tell me about that, because, a lot of technicians, They're really good at helping you with the technical issues. I mean, they can fix a computer if it's busted. You can give them the computer and they can figure it out. But in terms of helping you from a strategic standpoint, of really being able to look at your business, where it's going, how it's going to grow, and giving you strategic business technology advice, how good are they at that?
It's been very good. We meet on a monthly basis and we talk about where the business is going and what we're trying to achieve from a business standpoint, and they provide recommendations and solutions on how to use technology to get there faster and more efficiently. They're here every month to talk about what's next, how can we do things better. So, yeah, one of the great things about CMIT is the number of problems we have has dropped dramatically. Our system is running at efficiencies better than they've had in years, and that's great. But they're not satisfied with that. They still want to come in here every month and talk about ways we can improve things. How can we take the next step in technology to make the server faster? How can we add programming that will allow us to do whatever it is we need to do? We're looking at automated testing for all of our test sets. That means creating some kind of database that will allow us to capture all this data. I need a database for that. Guy and Carol are out there right now trying to help me find a resource to help me with that type of stuff. So,
you mentioned the help desk. What's been your experience with that?
The help desk has been great because, one, it frees up my resources to do the things they need to do to make sure that we're meeting our commitments to the customers. Every function has a person who loves doing that computer stuff, and they're the go-to person. And that's great, except for the fact that those people have other jobs as well. There's a guy in engineering, and if there's a problem, he was the guy to go to. In manufacturing, was the planner. Anytime you had a problem, you go to her. And they were happy to help. They like doing it, all that type of stuff. Unfortunately, that distracts from what they're here to do, which is serve our customers. The help desk just eliminated that completely. We estimate that we're saving about 8 hours a week.
Wow, 8 hours a week. So if you figure 50 weeks, you got 400 hours, and that's about 2.5 months of somebody's salary. I don't know what you pay your engineers, but I'm guessing that's a pretty big number.
It is a big number. And like I said, it's not just the cost, it's the effect on my customer. When the master scheduler and planner is doing computer stuff, that means they're not dropping the next order. That means that a shipment could be delayed. That'll cost you more than 400 hours. Because if you're late and you lose a customer, it's tough to get them back. Across the board with CMIT, it's that proactive philosophy that just is so impressive. Yes, you can call them and they'll fix a problem for you, which is great, and they do it quickly. And if they can't help you within an hour, they'll call Carol and Guy, and somebody's here to take care of it. But one of the neat things they're doing now is they're actually tracking intermittent issues. So there's times when my computer might have a little problem, and all of a sudden it goes away. Well, they're tracking that to collect trends, to see if they can see if there's something going on with the Microsoft software, there's something might be going on with our server, or something with one of our applications. And again, when I have trend data in front of me, I can make better decisions, I can make smarter decisions, I can make more cost-effective decisions.
So what are Guy and Carol like to work with, just as human beings, just as people?
They're very down to earth. They understand my needs. They understand I'm not an IT guy. I can't talk in that language. If there's any doubt about what's going on, we immediately get together and we'll clarify stuff. And a lot of times, like I said, we're not talking about problems. We're talking about, hey, this is where we're trying to go here as a business. What are some solutions? Carol is very project-oriented, which makes things very nice. Every week I get a project status. Here's the project we're working on. Here's what's going on. And here's our priorities. So there's no doubt about what's going on and what needs to get done first, and it's communicated very clearly. And that's something that, Carol, with her personality, is very strong with, and Guy, technically, can manage the projects himself. So they are a good team there.
Is there any last thing that you think people should know about working with CMIT and Guy and Carol Beardsley?
When you want to move from an environment that's reactive to proactive, CMIT understands those types of needs and is willing to go the extra mile to make sure that they're monitoring your systems, they're managing the data, they're analyzing the data so that we can continue to move forward in a way that's better for your company. So if you're frustrated with reactive type IT functions, CMIT is the way to go.